Smugglers were transporting alien slaves. Now the human doesn't know what to do with them. The cargo hold of the Krell. Merchant vessel RRE of stale air and industrial lubricant. Captain Adam Palmer moved silently through the shadows, his combat boots barely making a sound on the metal floor. The abandoned ship drifted in neutral space, a perfect target for a lone mercenary looking to score valuable contraband. Jackpot should be right behind this door, he muttered to himself, running a hand through his two-cell dark hair. His bare torso glistened with a light sheen of sweat, the muscles of his shoulders and arms flexing as he worked on the heavy lock. The portable decoder in his hand blinked green and the magnetic seal disengaged with a satisfying clunk. Adam had been in this business long enough to know what to expect: weapons caches, rare minerals. Maybe some black market tech. The Galactic Coalition paid well for information on smuggling operations, and he wasn't above taking a small cut for himself before reporting back. What he didn't expect was what waited on the other side of that door. The heavy metal panel slid open with a hydraulic hiss, and Adam froze. His grip tightened on his pulse rifle as the dim emergency lighting revealed three figures standing motionless in the center of the otherwise empty hold. What the hell, he whispered, lowering his weapon slightly. Three women, no, not human women, stared back at him. Their skin was a deep rich blue that seemed to absorb the meager light. Long wavy black hair cascaded over their shoulders, framing faces that were hauntingly beautiful despite the cruel metallic muzzles clamped over their mouths. Their eyes glowed a brilliant gold, regarding him with an intensity that made the hair on the back of his neck stand up. They wore minimal clothing, simple brown fabric that covered just enough to maintain dignity but revealed the slender athletic build of their bodies. Heavy metal collars encircled their necks, pulsing with the soft blue glow of suppression technology. Son of a, Adam muttered, slowly lowering his weapon completely. This wasn't contraband, this was slavery. As he took a tentative step forward, the tallest of the three moved, stepping in front of the others. Despite her restraints, she carried herself with unmistakable dignity. Her eyes locked with his, and Adam felt a strange sensation as if she were looking straight through him. Will you free us? The words came through a distorted voice modulator built into the muzzle, but the question was clear, and so was the challenge behind it. Adam hesitated. He'd come for a quick score, not a rescue mission. Freeing captives, especially alien captives, meant complications. It meant making enemies of whoever had put these women here. And if I say I can't? He asked, cautiously studying their reactions. The tall woman tilted her head slightly, and despite the muzzle, Adam could swear he saw the hint of a smile in her eyes. Then we'll find a way to convince you, she replied, her modulated voice somehow managing to convey both threat and promise. Adam holstered his weapon and crossed his arms over his chest. I don't even know what species you are. We are Yuans, the woman replied. I am NAA. These are my sisters Adara and Kira. The other two women nodded in acknowledgement but remained silent, watching the exchange with those unsettling golden eyes. And who put you here? Adam asked, already scanning the hold for tracking devices or security measures he might have missed. The Drari Syndicate. Naira answered the name, sending a chill down Adam's spine. The Drari were the most ruthless criminal organization in 3 sectors. If they were involved in trafficking ons, there had to be something valuable about them. Oh, something worth the risk. What makes you so special that the Drari would lock you up? He asked bluntly. Nara's eyes flashed. Our abilities ons possess talents that others find useful, particularly our empathic capabilities. Empath? Adam raised an eyebrow. You can read emotions, among other things, she replied cryptically. These collars suppress our abilities. Without them we could demonstrate. Adam ran a hand over his short beard, weighing his options. The smart move would be to walk away, report the ship's location to the Coalition, and let them handle it, but something in those golden eyes held him in place. If I help you, he said slowly, what's in it for me besides the satisfaction of doing the right thing? Nara asked, and Adam could have sworn he detected a note of amusement in her distorted voice. We have knowledge, information about Drari operations that would be very valuable to someone in your line of work. Adam stepped closer, studying the complex mechanisms of the collars. And how do I know you won't just kill me once these come off? If your abilities are so dangerous, we do not kill, interrupted the smallest of the 3. Kira, if he remembered correctly, it is against our nature, right? Adam muttered skeptically, heard that before. He circled around them. noting the lack of visible injuries but the clear exhaustion in their posture. They'd been here a while waiting for whatever fate the Drari had planned. The ship transporting us was attacked. NRA explained, seeming to sense his questions. The crew abandoned us here, planning to return with reinforcements. How long ago? 3 cycles. Adam checked his chronometer. That gave him maybe 6 hours before company arrived. Not much time. These collars, he said, gesturing toward Naira's neck, they look like standard Drari tech. I might be able to disable them, but not here. I'd need tools. A secure location, then take us with you, Naira said simply. Adam laughed without humor. Just like that. 3 alien women with unknown abilities wanted by the most dangerous criminal organization in the sector. That's a hell of a complication to my life. Your life seems to thrive on complications, Captain Palmer Nero replied, and Adam stiffened. How do you know my name? He demanded, hand moving back toward his weapon. Your ship's registry. We saw it through the viewport when you docked, she explained smoothly. Even with our ability suppressed, we are observant. Adam relaxed slightly but remained wary. If I do this, and that's a big if, we play by my rules. You do exactly what I say when I say it. One wrong move and I'll drop you at the nearest coalition outpost. Understood? The 3 women exchanged glances, some unspoken communication passing between them before Naira nodded. Understood. Captain Adam sighed heavily, already regretting his decision. Leighton, move. We don't have much time. He led them through the abandoned corridors of the merchant vessel, constantly scanning for threats. The women moved with surprising grace despite their restraints, following him in silence at the airlock connecting to his ship. Adam paused. My vessel's small, designed for 1, maybe 2 people. It's going to be cramped. We have endured worse, Naira assured him. Adam punched in the access code and the airlock cycled open. Welcome to the Emmys, he said as they entered the compact but well-maintained ship. It's not much, but it's home. The women looked around with obvious curiosity at the human technology, so different from the Drari designs they'd been surrounded by. Strap in, Adam ordered, gesturing to the passenger seats behind the pilot's chair. We're getting out of here before company arrives. As the women secured themselves, Adam slid into the pilot's seat and began the launch sequence. The art of hummed to life around them. Systems coming online one by one. Where are we going? Idera spoke for the first time, her voice softer than Naira's but with the same electronic distortion. Adam glanced back at them as the ship detached from the Durek vessel. Somewhere the Drari won't look for you. A little outpost on the edge of coalition space where I know someone who might be able to help with those collars. The Artemis accelerated away from the abandoned merchant ship, disappearing into the vast darkness of space. And then what? Naira asked, her golden eyes fixed on the back of his head. Adam set the coordinates for the jump to hyperspace, his jaw tightening. Then we figure out what the hell I'm going to do with you. The Emmys cruised through hyperspace, its compact FR humming with the steady rhythm of the drive core. Adam sat at the navigation console, fingers dancing across the holographic display as he plotted their course to outpost Helios. Behind him the 3 Aoran women remained strapped into their seats, their golden eyes watching his every move. We'll reach Helios in about 12 hours, Adam announced, swiveling his chair to face them. There's a man there, Garrett, who specializes in Drari tech. If anyone can get those collars off without triggering a fail-safe, it's him. Naira nodded, her long black hair shifting with the movement. Thank you, Captain Palmer. Adam studied them more carefully now that they were safely away from the abandoned vessel. In the better lighting of his ship he could see the intricate pattern that adorned their blue skin, subtle markings that seemed to shimmer when they moved like constellations against the night sky. You can call me Adam, he said, standing up and stretching. His muscles flexed beneath his skin, and he noticed Kira's eyes following the movement with undisguised interest. And you should get comfortable, it's going to be a long flight. He moved to a storage compartment and pulled out 3 hydration packs they designed with straws that could fit beneath the edges of their muzzles. Here, you must be thirsty. Adar took one gratefully, her fingers brushing against his. The contact sent an unexpected jolt through Adam's system, a warm, pleasant sensation that lingered even after she withdrew her hand. What was that? He asked sharply, looking from his hand to her face. I apologize, Yara said softly. Even with the suppressors, some of our abilities leak through with physical contact. It was unintentional. Adam flexed his fingers, the sensation already fading. What exactly did you do? Nothing harmful, NRA interjected. Ida simply sensed your emotions and reflected them back. It is a natural response for our kind. So what? You felt was your own emotion amplified. Kir added, her voice lighter than the others, almost musical despite the distortion. Adam frowned. That's invasive. It is our nature, Nara replied. Simply as breathing as yours. And comfortable silence fell over the cabin. And Adam moved to the small galley area, needing space to process this new information. These women were more alien than they appeared despite their humanoid forms. You should rest, he called over his shoulder. There's a sleeping compartment through that door. It's not much, but you can take turns. What about Yuna asked. Adam gestured to the pilot's chair. I'll keep watch. Someone needs to monitor our course. The ship has automated systems, Nara observed, glancing at the console. You need rest as well. Adam turned to face her, crossing his arms over his chest. Let's get something straight. I don't trust you. Not completely. So yeah, I'll stay right here where I can keep an eye on things. Naira held his gaze for a long moment before nodding. As you wish. The women unstrapped themselves and moved toward the sleeping compartment, their movements graceful despite their restraints. As they passed him, Adam caught a subtle scent, something like night blooming flowers with an undertone of spice. Once they had disappeared into the small room, Adam slumped back into the pilot's chair and ran a hand over his face. What the hell have I gotten myself into, he muttered. He pulled up the ship's database and searched for information on Orin. The results were sparse. A species from the Outer Rim known for their empathic abilities, rarely seen in Coalition space. Nothing about why the Yari would be trafficking them or what made them valuable enough to risk crossing sector boundaries. Hours passed as Adam alternated between checking their course and researching. The ship's chronometer showed they were halfway to Helios when the door to the sleeping compartment slid open. Naira emerged alone, her golden eyes seeming to glow in the dimmed cabin lights. She moved to the co-pilot's seat and sat down gracefully. Your sister still sleeping? Adam asked, trying to keep his tone casual. They are resting. Yes, Naira replied. I wish to speak with you privately. Adam tensed slightly. About what happens after you help us remove these restraints, she said, one slender blue finger tracing the edge of her collar. You have taken a great risk for strangers. I want to understand why. Adam leaned back in his chair, considering his answer. Let's just say I've seen enough injustice in this galaxy to last a lifetime. Some lines you don't cross, and slavery is one of them. A moral stance, Naira observed. Admirable, but perhaps not the complete truth. Adam felt a flicker of irritation. You calling me a liar? Not at all, she replied smoothly, merely suggesting that humans are complex creatures with multiple motivations. As are we. Fair enough, Adam conceded. The bounty on Drari intel is substantial. If what you know is valuable, I stand to profit. Satisfied? Naira's eyes crinkled slightly at the corners, the closest thing to a smile she could manage, with the muzzle more satisfied than before. Honesty builds trust, Captain Adam, he corrected. Automatically, Adam, she repeated, and something about the way his name sounded in her voice made his pulse quicken. He cleared his throat. So these abilities of yours, what exactly can you do when those collars come off? Naira tilted her head. Considering we are past, as I said, we can sense emotions, project them, and in some cases influence them. Mind control? Adam asked sharply. No, Naira shook her head firmly. We cannot control thoughts or actions, only suggest feelings, create an emotional atmosphere. It would be like, how would humans describe it? Like playing music that makes you feel a certain way but more direct. Adam nodded slowly. And that's valuable enough for the Drari to risk coalition penalties. Naira's expression darkened. The Drari us as tools for negotiation. In all one can sense deception, create trust where none exists, soothe aggression in the hands of criminals. You're living lie detectors and mood manipulators. Adam finished. I can see the appeal. There is more, Naira said hesitantly, but it would be easier to show you once the collars are removed. Adam studied her face, searching for deception. No offense, but that's not exactly reassuring. I understand your caution, she replied, but I give you my word we mean you no harm. Quite the opposite of harm being gratitude, Naira said simply, in whatever form that might take. There was something in her tone that sent a warmth spreading through a damp chest. He shifted uncomfortably in his seat. I should check our course, he said abruptly, turning back to the console. Naira remained silent as he worked, but he could feel her eyes on him. The cabin suddenly felt much smaller than before. An alert chimed from the communications array, breaking the tension. Adam frowned and pulled up the notification. He muttered, scanning The message, what is it? Naira asked, leaning forward. Bounty alert, Adam explained grimly. The Drari work fast, they've already put a price on information about 3 missing ons. 200,000 credits for information, double that for recovery. That is substantial. NRA observed, her voice tight. Yeah, it's enough to turn every mercenary and bounty hunter in the sector into a problem for us, Adam said, already adjusting their course. We need to be more careful. Helios might not be safe anymore. Where will we go now? Asked Adam. Pulled up a star chart. There's a mining colony on Series 4. Garrett has a workshop there too. It's further out, less traffic. You trust this Garrett? Adam gave a humorless laugh. I trust his greed. He'll help us for the right price, and he hates the Drari even more than I do, but they killed his family during a protection racket gone wrong. As he set the new coordinates, the ship lurched suddenly, throwing Naira forward. Adam caught her instinctively, his arms wrapping around her slender frame to steady her. The moment their bodies connected, a wave of sensation washed over him, not just the physical awareness of her pressed against his chest, but something deeper, more intense emotions that weren't entirely his own flooded his consciousness. Gratitude, fear, and something else, a warm pulsing attraction that mirrored his own unexpected response to her. Naira gasped, her golden eyes widening as she looked up at him, even with the muzzle covering half her face. Adam could see the surprise in her expression. She began but seemed unable to continue. Adam gently set her back on her feet, his hands lingering on her arms longer than necessary. What was that? He asked, his voice rougher than he intended. The suppression field, it weakens with proximity, Naira explained, her voice unsteady. When we touch the connection is stronger. Connection, Adam repeated, still feeling the echo of those foreign emotions between us. Naira said simply, what you felt was real, Adam. My emotions and yours intermingling. Adam took a step back, needing distance to clear his head. That's intense. It is our way, Naira replied. We experience emotions more deeply than most. I'm changing our course to Series 4. The 3 women exchanged glances, some silent communication passing between them. There is something you should know, Idara said finally. The collars are weakening. Adam stared at her. What do you mean weakening? They require regular maintenance. Kir explained. The Drari would recalibrate them every few cycles. It has been longer than that now. And what happens when they fail completely? Adam asked, though he suspected he already knew the answer. Our abilities will return, Naira said, not all at once, but gradually. Already we can sense more than we could when you found us. Adam paced the small cabin, processing this new information. How long? A day, perhaps 2. Adar estimated. Less if the collars are damaged. Great, Adam muttered. So not only do we have bounty hunters on our tail, but I'm about to have 3 fully powered empaths on my ship who could potentially manipulate my emotions. We would not do that, Naira said firmly. Not without consent. Forgive me if I'm not completely reassured, Adam replied dry. Kira stepped forward, her movements fluid and graceful. Perhaps a demonstration would help ease your mind. Before Adam could protest, she reached out and placed her hand on his arm. Unlike the overwhelming flood of emotion he'd experienced with Naira, this touch brought a gentle wave of calm washing over him, not erasing his concerns but softening their edges. This is the extent of what we can do without consent, Kira explained, removing her hand. Suggest not control. The feeling is your own, merely enhanced. Adam took a deep breath, surprised to find his heart rate had slowed. That's actually not as invasive as I expected. We value free will as much as humans do, Adar added. Perhaps more so as we understand better what it means to lose it. The sincerity in her voice was unmistakable, and Adam felt some of his suspicion ebbing away. These women had been captives, their abilities suppressed and their freedom taken. They understood the value of choice. All right, he said finally, but I want to know immediately if those collars start to fail completely. No surprises, agreed, Naira said with a nod. The ship's proximity alert suddenly blared, cutting through the moment of understanding. Adam lunged for the console, pulling up the sensor readings. Damn it, he swore, looking at the display. We've got company. Jakari scout ship coming in fast. They found us already, Adra asked, alarm clear in her voice. They must have tracked the merchant vessel, Adam said, his hands flying over the controls as he diverted power to the engines. Everyone strap in, this is going to get rough. The 3 women quickly secured themselves in the passenger seats as Adam pushed the Artemis to its limits, accelerating away From the approaching scout ship, can we outrun them? Naira asked, her voice steady despite the danger. Adam grimaced. Not for long. The Artemis is fast, but Drari scouts are built for pursuit. He banked the ship sharply, heading toward a nearby asteroid field. The maneuver sent them all pressing against their restraints. What are you doing? Kira asked, eyes wide as the field of tumbling rocks loomed ahead. Something stupid, Adam replied, a reckless grin spreading across his face, but it might just work. As the Emmys plunged into the asteroid field, Adam's hands moved with practiced precision, guiding the ship through the deadly maze. Behind them, the Drari scout followed, its larger frame making navigation more difficult. Hold on, Adam shouted as he executed a tight spiral between two massive asteroids, scraping the ship's hull against one of them. The impact sent a shudder through the vessel and warning lights flashed across the console, but when Adam checked the sensors, he saw the Drari ship had suffered worse, clipping the same asteroid and spinning out of control. We lost them, he announced, not slowing their pace as they continued through the field temporarily. At least that was impressive, Naira said, and Adam could hear genuine admiration in her voice. Just another day in the life of a smuggler, he replied with a wink, though his heart was still pounding from the adrenaline. As they emerged from the asteroid field, Adam set a new course. Making sure to mask their ion trail will take the long way to Series 4. It'll add a few hours to our journey, but it should throw off any pursuers. He unstrapped himself and moved to check the damage to the ship's hull. A diagnostic scan showed minor structural damage, but nothing critical. We got lucky, he muttered, more to himself than to the women. Luck had little to do with it. Naira observed, your skill as a pilot is exceptional. Adam glanced at her, surprised by the compliment. Thanks comes with practice and natural talent, Adara added. Few could navigate such a field with such precision. Adam felt a warmth spreading through his chest at their words, a simple pride in his abilities that he rarely acknowledged. Well, we're not out of danger yet. The Drari don't give up easily, especially not with a bounty that size. Why are we so valuable to them? Kir asked, her voice tinged with bitterness. Surely there are other empaths in the galaxy. None like Orin Na replied before Adam could speak. Our abilities are unique in their subtlety and power, and the Drari love their advantage, Adam added, returning to the pilot seat. From what I've heard, they've been expanding their operations into coalition space. Having empaths who can detect lies and influence emotions would be invaluable for their negotiations. We are not tools, Adra said firmly, a flash of anger in her golden eyes. No, Adam agreed, meeting her gaze. You're not, and I'm going to make sure the Jakari never get their hands on you again. The conviction in his voice surprised even him. What had started as a simple rescue was becoming something more, a commitment. He hadn't planned on making. Nira studied him with those penetrating golden eyes. You are an unusual human. Adam Palmer. How so? He asked curiously. Despite himself, most would have left us or turned us in for the bounty, she explained, yet you risk your life for strangers. Adam shrugged, uncomfortable with the observation. Like I said, some lines you don't cross. There is more to it than that, Naira insisted gently. We may be restrained, but we can still sense the core of who you are. There is honor there, compassion. Don't go making me out to be some kind of hero, Adam nedded, though her words stirred something in him. I'm just a guy trying to do the right thing. Sometimes that is the definition of a hero, Kira said softly. Adam cleared his throat, changing the subject. You should all get some more rest. We've still got a long journey ahead, and I need to monitor our course. The women seemed to sense his discomfort with their praise and nodded in understanding as they moved back toward the sleeping compartment. Naira paused beside him. When these collars come off, she said quietly, we will show you our gratitude in ways your human mind cannot yet comprehend. There was a promise in her words that sent a shiver down Adam's spine, not of fear but anticipation, as she joined her sisters. In the small room, Adam found himself wondering exactly what form that gratitude might take. He turned back to the controls, trying to focus on the task at hand, but his thoughts kept drifting to the three blue-skinned women and the strange connection he'd felt when touching Naira. There was something happening between them, something he couldn't explain but couldn't deny either. As the Artemis continued its journey through the stars, Adam Palmer found himself facing a truth he hadn't expected. He was beginning to care about what happened to these alien women, beyond the simple moral imperative that had first compelled him to help them and that he realized might be the most Dangerous development of all the Artemis drifted through the outer reaches of the Ceres system, its engines running silent. To avoid detection, Adam had pushed the ship hard after their encounter with the Yari scout, and now they needed time for minor repairs before making the final approach to Ceres 4. Adam wiped sweat from his brow as he finished sealing a damaged coolant line. The engine compartment was cramped and hot, forcing him to work shirtless as he repaired the damage from their asteroid field escape. He slid out from under the access panel and sat up, reaching for a hydration pack. "You have an impressive understanding of mechanical systems," came Naira's voice from the doorway. Adam looked up to find Ceres 4 at maximum speed. "Change of plans. We can't risk leading him to Garrett. Will have to find another way to remove those collars. We don't have much time." Naira warned. "The collars are failing faster than we anticipated." "When they do, what happens exactly?" Adam asked, glancing back at her while navigating through the system's debris field. The three women exchanged looks, some silent communication passing between them. "Energy release," Kira finally explained. "When suppression technology fails completely, there is a surge. As our natural abilities reassert themselves, it can be overwhelming." "Overwhelming how?" Adam pressed. "For us intense but manageable," Naira said. "For those around us who are unprepared, potentially disorienting, especially for species as emotionally complex as humans." "Great," Adam muttered. "So I might be piloting while experiencing some kind of empathic overload that won't get us killed at all." "There are ways to prepare," Adara offered softly, "to create a buffer." "I'm listening," Adam said, checking the sensors again. Morn's ship was gaining on them, its superior engines closing the distance connection. Naira explained, "The more familiar we are with your emotional signature, the more we can shield you from the surge." There was something in her tone that suggested this connection involved more than just conversation. Adam raised an eyebrow. "And how exactly do we establish this connection?" "Physical proximity helps," Kira said, a hint of mischief in her golden eyes. "The closer the better." Despite the danger of their situation, Adam felt a smile tugging at his lips. "Is that so?" "It is science," Naira confirmed with perfect seriousness, though her eyes held the same playful glint as Kira's orange. "Science." A warning light flashed on the console, interrupting the moment. "He's locked weapons," Adam announced, his hands flying over the controls. "Hang on." The Artemis banked sharply as an energy blast streaked past them, illuminating the cockpit with harsh blue light. Adam pushed the ship into a series of evasive maneuvers, using the system's asteroid belt for cover. "He's good," Adam admitted grudgingly as another shot narrowly missed them. "But I'm better." He spotted a dense cluster of asteroids ahead and aimed directly for it, pushing the engines beyond their recommended limits. The ship shuddered in protest. "What are you doing?" Adara asked, alarm evident in her voice. "Something stupid," Adam replied with a reckless grin. Again he cut the main engines suddenly, letting momentum carry them into the asteroid field, then fired the maneuvering thrusters in a precise sequence that sent the Emmys spinning between two massive rocks. The moment they were through, he reactivated the main drive and accelerated away at a perpendicular angle behind them. Morn's larger ship couldn't execute the same maneuver. The bounty hunter was forced to go around the asteroid cluster, buying them precious minutes that won't hold him for long. Adam said, already plotting a new course. "We need somewhere to hide, make repairs, and figure out what to do about those collars there." Kira pointed to a spot on the navigation display. "That moon has a dense atmosphere. It could mask our signature." Adam nodded approvingly. "Good. Isiri th first third moon Lyra mining outposts mostly abandoned now. We can sit down there, go dark, and wait for morn to pass by." He adjusted their course, approaching the moon from its dark side to minimize their visibility. As they entered the atmosphere, turbulence rocked the ship, throwing Nay against Adam. Her hand clutched his bare shoulder for balance, and the contact sent another wave of that now familiar emotional resonance through him, but stronger this time, more vivid. He could feel her concern, her determination, and beneath it all that same current of desire that seemed to intensify each time they touched. What surprised him was how natural it felt, how right, as if their emotional wavelengths were gradually synchronizing. The ship broke the moan through the cloud layer, revealing a rugged landscape of abandoned mining facilities in rocky outcroppings. Adam guided them toward a deep canyon where the ship would be hidden from orbital scans. "There," he said, pointing to a cave-like opening in the canyon wall. "Old maintenance bay, perfect place to hide." He carefully maneuvered The Artemis into the artificial cave, powering down all non-essential systems once they were safely inside the emergency lights cast the cabin in a soft blue glow. How long do we need to stay here? Adar asked, looking around at the dark cave visible through the viewports. At least until Morn gives up and moves on. Adam replied, checking the sensors one last time before shutting them down. 2 could be hours, could be days. We don't have days, Naira reminded him, touching her collar. The glow had dimmed significantly and Adam could see hairline fractures spreading across its surface. The collars will fail completely within hours. As if to emphasize her point, Kira's collar suddenly emitted a high-pitched whine. She gasped, her hands flying to her throat as sparks danced across the metal surface. Kira Adara moved to her sister's side, but Adam was faster. Don't touch her, he warned, grabbing a pair of insulated gloves from a storage compartment. The discharge could jump to you. He approached Kira carefully, watching as she sank to her knees, her golden eyes wide with a mixture of pain and something else, a kind of ecstasy, as her suppressed abilities began to break free. Hold still, he instructed, using the gloves to examine the collar. The fractures were spreading rapidly, the suppression field visibly failing as blue energy crackled around the seams. It's going to blow, he realized. We need to get it off her now. How? Nara demanded, hovering nearby. We don't have the tools.